Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. First of all, apologies for not showing up over the last 3 to 4 days regularly. I was down with flu, but now fully recovered, and I hope that I'll again be coming out with one video every single day. So thanks for all your support and looking forward to continuing this beautiful journey. Today's video is super important for folks who are currently working or for the folks who are about to get into workforce, right? This is about how do you make sure that you get the maximum salary hike possible in every single appraisal round. Okay. Now, let me tell you a few tactics and tips around how do you make sure that you get that maximum hike possible. But even before that, let me help you understand what actually happens in a review process. Okay. Let us take, for example, Vaibhav. And Vaibhav has a manager, and Vaibhav's manager is now in that 6-month cycle mark where he has to give ratings to Vaibhav. Now, Vaibhav's manager will do all the performance review. He will basically fill up a sheet and then he will go into a review meeting. It is interesting to note that, hey, Vaibhav's manager is only one single person, but there are 4 or 5 other people within the room who are also giving a yes or no with respect to how much hike should Vaibhav receive, right? So there are 4 or 5 people who are collectively making that decision. Now, if you take a step back, you are continuously working with your manager every single day, but you are not even working with any of the other 4 or 5 members. Then how come they influence your performance appraisal, right? That's very tricky. So when I'm giving these tips and tricks with respect to how to make sure you maximize your salary hike, we'll have to consider these other parties as well. It is not just about you and your manager, but there are a few other folks involved in this entire ecosystem. Okay, so let us start with the first tip. That is building that support system outside of your manager. Okay, and you never know who those 4 or 5 people are, honestly. And it's unnecessary for you to second guess that. What you need to do is you need to start building your support system right from day one in your organization. If you haven't built anything so far, you can start immediately. What do I mean by a support system? There are folks who come to you and who are ready to help you and speak about you in a very positive way. Some of the easiest ways for you to do this, or some of the easiest ways for you to enable others to do this, is one, participating in, like, let's say, office-wide events, some organizing fun events, building that community around that office. Organizations are struggling to build a community, right? Everybody is coming, doing their work and going back. But somebody who spends that extra 5% of energy, effort, I'm not even talking about 100% effort, I'm talking about 5% additional effort that can help build the community in an organization, those guys get a lot of visibility. And getting visibility is the first step in building this support. Number 2, what helps even more is that if you are being recognized as an expert in some specific field. For example, I was very good at SQL coding and a bunch of other things with respect to databases. Now, there were 3 or 4 incidences when there were a few projects at McKinsey where they needed some expertise in the database management systems. But unfortunately, nobody was there on the team. But I said that, hey, yes, that is super easy. And I can help 3 or 4 associates on the team pick up that skill easily. Right? So slowly I started building my strengths around that, hey, yes, Pawan is a super strong candidate with respect to analytics or any of these analytics tools. Right? So that helped me build my own support system that, hey, I'm ready to support any partner, whoever is in need of, like, hey, expertise with respect to these 3 things. So even if I'm not completely available, I could make myself a coach for 3 or 4 people. These partners were not responsible for my reviews, but they used to write good things about me to my manager and influence my entire review cycle. Right? These are small things, your office community building events, you coaching 3 or 4 people. These sound like very simple things, but this will start helping you establish your presence in the organization beyond your immediate team. So if you haven't done that before, please get started. That's the first step. Now moving on to the second step. This is even more interesting. Okay, this has to do just with your manager. Now a lot of times what we do is we go to our manager and ask, hey manager, by the way, can you tell me the 3 or 4 things that I need to improve? I promise I'll improve in the next 3 months. Well, the manager will say that, hey, yes, you need to improve here, so on and so forth, right? Now 6 months down the lane, in this review meeting that we were talking about, the manager won't have any good things to say about you. The manager will only keep thinking about, hey, Pawan should have improved in these 4 dimensions, right? The alternate line of questioning, which is super simple, is, hey, you can ask your manager, by the way, manager, can you tell me what are the 3 things that I do really well? And can you share some examples? Examples is the key, guys. Because in the appraisal meetings, your manager can go ahead and say that, hey, by the way, Pawan is a fantastic analytics and analytics tools individual that we have in the organization. He's been helping 3 or 4 teams continuously, and when there is a client problem, he actually supported 4 client members on this particular date, right? So the feedback becomes very, very, very specific, and nobody can argue with facts. When the details are so specific, they become facts, and nobody can argue with these facts, right? So it is important for you to help your manager remember these things. And how can they remember these things? They can only do it if you keep asking them the question that, hey, what are the 3 things I am good at? And please share some specific examples or life situations where you have noticed that, right? This is again looks very simple, but this was something which I got to learn from one of my managers, McKinsey. He very clearly told me that, hey, Pawan, it's super important to make sure that you give this kind of feedback or whatever you call, right? You keep pushing this kind of information into your manager's head every single time. So that, hey, you can't blame your manager 6 months down the lane that, hey, you didn't speak anything positively about me. No, the manager will have 100 other things. They'll forget. It's your job to make sure that they remember this thing. Alright, if you haven't followed this before, please do follow it. And if you like this tip, please like the video and also subscribe to the video. Okay. Now moving on to the third tip. The first one was around people around the organization. The second one was around just within the manager level, right? Now the third one is about taking more responsibility. Yes. When do folks get actually higher salary hikes? They get higher salary hikes when they are about to move from one position to another position. If you are moving from analyst role to associate role or associate role to manager role, that is when you receive maximum hike, right? So if you are an associate, what you need to do is that, hey, these are the 3 or 4 tasks that are assigned to you. You anyways are going to do it. Now, these are the 3 or 4 tasks that a manager is doing. And let me start taking one single responsibility at a time. So even before your manager realized, your manager will come to you and say that, hey, Pawan, by the way, I thought you are an associate, but you are doing almost all the work that a manager is doing or a senior associate is doing, right? So that is beautiful. You are reducing so much headache for your manager. Who wouldn't love that, right? If I'm a manager, if somebody is taking more responsibility and reducing the pressure on me, I would love that associate. I would love that analyst, right? So the third thing is about taking on additional responsibility. You don't need to go crazy out of your way, but you can start very, very, very simple. You can start off with, hey, if you are just responsible for one Excel analysis, make sure that you are giving that Excel analysis output also in a very proper way. You can also start connecting the dots of, hey, this is the analysis and by the way, this is the result, right? So understanding the so what, understanding, hey, so what was the reason for this analysis and what is the outcome? What is the implication of this analysis? Understanding these 2-3 things and acting accordingly will start helping you to take more and more responsibility, because your analysis is not just analysis for everybody, right? Somebody is going to take it and use it. They use it for some other purpose, right? So if you can start anticipating these reasons and start acting on them, that's the first step in taking additional responsibility. See what are your immediate next level guys in the hierarchy are doing. right? See what are the 1 or 2 things that you can start doing. You can have open conversations with your manager about these things, but start having at least 2 to 3 months before that appraisal season, right? Because it will give you time as well to showcase that, hey, yes, you are doing these 3 or 4 things. Now, I hope this might sound a little far-fetched, which is fine, but if you want to actually get that maximum hike possible, you need to start going that extra mile. So, to summarize, we talked about 3 things. Number 1, build that support system. Alright, help the organization improve its overall culture. Will be a huge addition onto your entire resume, right? And all the 4 or 5 people who are present in that review meeting, they will be happy to endorse you and push your case for the highest rise possible. Number 2, give the positive enforcements every single time to your manager. Ask what are the 3 good things and also what are the examples. Where did you see me doing it? That will act as a very good trigger in these final discussions. Number 3, showcase to your manager, showcase to the larger team that, hey, if you're an analyst, you're already taking associate level work. If you're an associate, you're already taking manager level work. And how can you do that? The simplest way to start with is your analysis. Whatever you do, whatever technical work you do, think about, hey, what is the reason why you are doing this and what is the outcome of this particular analysis? Who is going to use it and how are they going to use it? If you think about these 2 to 3 things, it will help you take that next step in a very natural way. Hope this is helpful, guys. And I really wish you get that highest hike possible. If you do get, please don't forget to inform me. And also I'll be happy to take 5% commission on that. I'm just kidding. But please do tell me. And I would love to hear these stories going forward. Thank you so much, guys. And look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye. Take care.